Innovation, imagination, wonder. These are just some of the words used to describe Dr. Harvey Passes. Dr. Passes explores interesting people and ideas that will stimulate you. He questions the people who develop, create, and employ novel concepts in business and everyday lives. He especially loves to speak with successful people. How did they do it? How can you do it too? So let's join Dr. Harvey Passes in his quest of wonder and curiosity as we watch Dr. Harvey Passes Presents.
One of my favorite kind of shows to do for you is what I call the anatomy of success. I like to take an individual who had an idea of some kind and then took that idea and expanded it and created a business, a venture, a project that turned out to be very successful and rewarding for himself and for the individuals that the project helped. A good friend of mine who is no stranger to the show will be interviewed today on this, but where this came from, I'm thinking as I'm explaining this to you, we went out for dinner a few weeks ago, and it occurred to me. I said, well, how did you come up with all of this? How did you do this? And we started talking, and then I said to him, stop it. Don't even continue. And he looked at me like, what do you mean don't continue? I said, don't continue because I want to save all that for television. I want to get a nice, fresh, clear outlook on your part, and I want you to discuss it with me again on TV. And he said, absolutely, I would love to. So let's welcome back to the show, Morris Sendor. Morris.
Hello.
Terrific. I'm so happy to have you back here.
My pleasure, Harvey.
And that we had a nice dinner that night.
It was wonderful.
Wines were great, too.
Really enjoyed it. All those wines.
All those wines. They were terrific. Let me tell the folks at home a little bit about who you are for those who might not have tuned in previously when you've been on the show.
Sure.
Morris is a very unusual gentleman. He started a magazine called Great Restaurants of Long Island and other places as well. And I think it's basically called just Great Restaurants.
Yes.
Then you fill in where it's going to be from.
Great Restaurants magazines.
Magazines, right. And it was really a novel concept, interesting concept. And you're doing this 12 years?
I'm in my 12th year, yes.
12 years. That's amazing. So before we do anything else, I just want to briefly have the camera come in close. And I just want to show my viewer at home exactly what we're talking about so they can get an idea. See if we can get a close-up of this. And I know I surprised my crew here. I'm basically going to open it and then kind of like turn the pages. So I'll drive you a little crazy here. I'm going to go a little lower. Let me see. So you've got, the pictures are absolutely terrific. Anywhere I go, it doesn't matter. You're just here. And as a matter of fact, I know I'm driving everybody crazy now. As a matter of fact, there's one thing here that's just fantastic. Oh, just amazing. See if we get a close-up of this, baby. Just terrific. And lo and behold, who's got a column in here? Me, online, which is terrific. So very, very, very interesting. But it's a great magazine, and it's beautiful. You get a good shot in the front, and you can see this, and then we'll get on with everything, just so you get an idea. It's beautiful. It's the kind of publication, it's the kind of publication one doesn't want to throw away because it feels that it's got substance, and it's just loaded with wonderful things. So how the heck did you come up with this idea? Because this was not your first project.
That's right.
What's your first project?
I actually came up with this idea, it was about 20 years ago, and it was with this Great Restaurants and Fine Shops of New York City. And this is a guide, a fold-up guide to New York City's best restaurants and shops. Originally, the idea started out as just a poster that we would sell in Manhattan in poster shops, but then developed into this guide.
Wow, look at this. So people purchased this, or it was given away?
This was given away. This was given away in the hotels, all the hotels in New York City, the airlines, TWA, Eastern Airlines, Thomas Cook Travel, and all the different restaurants, of course, had it as well. And originally, all we had was just a sketch that we did. Then we hired an aerial photographer to take a certain perspective of Manhattan for us. And then we hired Alan Colber, a very well-known advertising illustrator. He did the sketch for us, and then we went around to all the different shops in New York City, including Trump Tower. And we sold them advertising, and then that's how we funded the edition. What originally, like I said, started from a poster, turned into a whole publication, and we ran this business for 5 years.
Wow, impressive. But how did you think of this? I mean, let's go back to the very beginning. Well, what's your background as a kid?
As a kid, I went to high school.
Were you ever a kid?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
I went to High School of Art and Design, and you had to take a test to get into that school. And I remember going there. I was so impressed because the school has escalators. The first time I was ever in a school with escalators,
right,
and elevators too. But in any case, of course, I got in. And I knew from then on, actually before then, that I was going to be in the art field. I studied art and design and lettering and sculpture, photography, all the basic courses. And then I went on to Queens College. I took courses at night, School of Visual Arts as well, because my family at the time, they were poor, and they didn't want me to go to college, so they wanted me to go to work so I can contribute to money.
The household.
Yeah, yes. And so I went to college at night. And I decided in college that I wanted to be in advertising, and that's what I did. After I graduated, I went to, I worked for a company called Darcy. Actually, it was called Macius Wynne Williams. It was a European a British ad agency, and I was with them. I started as an assistant art director, and then I worked my way up. They merged and became Darcy McManus and Macius Advertising. It was a worldwide ad agency, and I did tons and tons of storyboards for the commercials, and I basically did about 90% of the work I did there was TV commercials for national clients, Colgate-Palmolive, M&M Mars, and then after about 5 years, I decided that I wanted to go out on my own, and I started my own ad agency. It was called M. Sendor and Sons, and then Sendor Advertising and Design, and I just continued on. I didn't do that much TV, but I did a lot of corporate identity, annual reports, packaging, logo designs, record album covers, displays.
So you really had to pound the pavement, though, to get business.
And that's exactly what I did. I walked around with my portfolio. I had this big black portfolio, and I would go to trade shows, and I would walk around these different shows, and that's how I got customers. I would say to them, listen, you have a nice package there, but I think it can be improved, and I would like to have an opportunity, and I would do it at no charge. I would show them my portfolio, and I always walked away from these shows with at least maybe 50, 60 cards in my pocket, and then I would follow up and call them and go and meet with them and do sketches right in front of them, the ideas, and then on spec, and then of course they would say, well, we'd like you to develop this further, and then of course I did, but I would ask for a deposit check before I went further with it. And I built up a business, advertising and design, in Manhattan. It was on Fifth Avenue, 45th Street. We had a great time. I did that for 10 years. And then after that, I sort of switched gears and went into publishing. And I actually, one of my clients at the time, his name was David Garner. He worked for a Whole Foods company, actually a distribution health food company, and I did work for him, printing, design, and then we started working on a project together. These maps, these local type maps that are cartoon illustrations, and we did one of those for Nyack. I was living in Rockland County at the time. But then we wanted to take it further and go into Manhattan with it, and we said, well, we can't just show everything in Manhattan. It's just too much. So I thought of the idea of focusing in on restaurants, and that's how this came about.
So all of your advertising, you got rid of that. You stopped doing that. When I say advertising, the ad
agency side, right? I'm still doing advertising.
Yes.
But
not
on the publisher side.
Right.
Actually, I wear many hats. I do more than just the publishing. My wife and I, we run this business, and I do all the selling. She does almost all the computer work, and we do the writing together. We go out just about every night to the different restaurants, and we do our own reviews.
You should weigh 500 pounds more.
Well, that's another problem. It's an occupational hazard. I did gain about 50 pounds since I started this business. But
that's like a dentist being a candy tester. Go ahead.
But in any case, so, we go to all different restaurants, and we interview the chefs and the owners. We basically work on recommendation from different sources. Richard J. Shalom, who's the former New York Times restaurant critic, he recommends a lot of restaurant owners to us. We, of course, look in the New York Times reviews and the Newsday, of course, and the Zagat survey. And then our own dining experiences as well. And many restaurant owners recommend other restaurants to us. And I know when a restaurant owner recommends a restaurant to us, I know it's a good restaurant. So
that's true.
Yeah. And so, we've been having a great time over the last 11 and a half years doing this book. And this is our very first edition right here.
Let me hold that up. So this was, there's no date on it.
Well,
Volume 1, number 1. It's inside the date?
It's about 11 and a half years ago. And
there's no date on it. Okay. Keep going. Oh, 1996. Here it is. 1996.
So that's when it first came out, but I started working on it.
Earlier,
it took me about a year to get it out. And you notice the price is only $2. And inside is mostly black and white. All the restaurants are represented with black and white pages, but
that's interesting. Very few are in color. Look at Kip Bedell.
The advertisers other than restaurants are in color. But what happened was the restaurant owners got a little frustrated. They said, well, we would like to have our pages in color too. Why can't we have our pages? And in fact, George Pohl, who owns Bryan and Cooper, Cipollini. But in any case, he said, listen, you should really do this in color and do it once a year. Originally,
instead of twice a year.
Originally, I was going to do it twice a year, right?
Right, do it in color and just charge a little bit more.
And so that's what I did. And so then I switched over to color, and this is our first color edition.
Oh, so now you've got this plate that Tom Shodell put together, right?
Tom Shodell, yes. In fact, Tom helped me in getting this whole business started. He recommended the top chefs and top restaurant owners and called them personally when I first started. And he really did give me a lot of help in the very beginning.
Right, now he's a good guy. He's good like that. He's been on the show a few times already. Here's a picture of him. Yeah. So this is really now how all of a sudden it turned around.
Yes, and we raised the price from $2. I believe this was $4. The second edition was $3. This is the third, and then continuing on. This is, I think that's the fifth edition, right?
Right.
And
right.
here,
it's very, very pretty. What is this? Is this Carlton?
That's a Carlton.
Okay.
And
look how pretty this is.
We won a Boley Award for that, and also the Tom's cover as well. We won a Boley. And this is the first time well, if you open it up, you'll see it opens to the gatefold in the front cover.
Okay.
We started doing that.
Second. Oh, I see. So this was the first time you did that?
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
And
that's
then
beautiful.
Richard Shalom's introduction is right there in the beginning as well.
Right.
And that's a picture of the wine cellar at the Carlton.
Right. See, the pictures are just beautiful. I mean,
well, this particular one
photographed beautifully.
I didn't take this one, but
he had it done. Tony had it done.
Yes,
professionally.
There were, but most of the pictures, about 98% of all the pictures in the book, I do take myself.
Yeah, I've been with you when I've seen you take pictures, and never once do you say cheese. I mean, it's just amazing. But what you've done, you see, this is what I'm formulating. I'm seeing a guy who was told to go out and work. You went to school, you worked, and you went to school, and then you learned your art craft.
Yes.
Trying to now put this together now, and you learned your craft in art. You first had to have a skill, because you couldn't go into business unless you could do something.
Well, sure. I guess my first skill really in this business is drawing. I'm an artist. And
that's what I meant.
In
That's
fact,
your skill.
In fact, the reason they had me doing all those storyboards for the TV shows, usually many art directors in the ad agencies, they make them art directors because they really can't draw all that well, and they have sketchmen who do the drawing. But I was one of the people who could draw and letter too. That was another important thing. And so I would be doing all these storyboards and these ads with the lettering, and everything was done by hand. And so, that was the first thing. But also, I enjoyed going out and seeing people, and really out of necessity, I had to go around and sell advertising or sell my craft before I did the publishing. When I was on my own as a designer and art director, doing, like I said before, annual reports and so on. And so, out of necessity, I sort of became a salesperson and walking around with my portfolio. And then I guess I learned, what to say and how to sell my work. And of course, that's what I go around now. And I don't really see myself as a salesperson. This is what I do, and I show people what I do.
Right. What would you say are some of the most important characteristics that helped you to get where you are today?
I think what it's really all about is just perseverance. People will tell you, no, don't do it. It's too much of a risk. You'll never be successful. If you truly believe in your heart and that you can do this, that it will be successful, you just keep going, just keep doing it, no matter what anyone tells you negatively. You just don't listen to them. Just do what you want. You have to have a passion and love, and just can't take no for an answer, and just go out there and just be yourself and show people what you do, and present the work, be fair, be honest, and it'll basically sell itself.
Okay, so perseverance, integrity, honesty, be truthful to yourself,
sure,
as well as to everyone else. What are some of the bad things in doing this? Where are some of your problems?
I guess you'd say there are some bad things. Many times you walk into see a potential client, and they'll keep you waiting a long time, and sometimes they'll be rude. Probably the worst thing is when you don't get paid when you're supposed to, and then a restaurant will purposely not pay you for whatever reason. They're having problems, or a client other than a restaurant, and then you have to go to small claims and you have to sue them, which I don't like to do, and I give them at least 10, 15 opportunities to try to work it out. Pay little by little, make some kind of an attempt, show some good faith, send me $50 a week,
right,
something. But the ones that don't, and there are very, very few, I have to emphasize, but the ones that can be frustrating.
But that's business.
Yes, part of doing business.
Doesn't matter if you sold watches,
no,
or you're a publisher.
No.
That's business.
But if you have 200 clients and you have one or two bad ones,
right,
and in that morning you have a bad experience with someone, like that, it just ruins your whole day. And I try not to let it bother me, but inevitably it always does.
How do you maintain such a high quality? How are you able to do that?
Well,
there's no question about it.
First of all, there are no other designers. I design this. This is, I have total control of the design, and I don't do quarter pages or half pages. I only do full pages in color. And if a client will send me an ad and I'm not totally thrilled with the way it looks, I'll very politely say, listen, I'll redo it for you. There won't be any charge. I try to handle it very diplomatically.
Right.
I don't want to upset
I'll
anyone.
do a better job.
Yeah, and then I do that, and I've refused quite a few ads in during the years I've been doing this. But I try to maintain a certain integrity and design in the book. The restaurant pages, if you look, you see it's all in a consistent format.
Yeah, absolutely.
Photo at the bottom, logo at the top, the review on the side,
it is
and
it's
the
consistent.
menu. So I try to maintain that same design integrity. Many times restaurant owners ask me, well, can you put two pictures in instead of one? I said, no, it's not how I do it. And I want these books to have a certain look, and I need to maintain that design integrity. The other thing too is we use top printers. I use high quality paper. The cover's on a #1 sheet. And I really, I'm very fussy and very picky. Art directors are known for being that way.
You should be.
And so I really try to just watch over everything as carefully as I can. And my wife says I do it too much, to a fault. But and I realize I always strive for perfection. I never get it, but I get as close as I can. And I've just learned through the years that you can always try, but you're never going to get absolute perfection. But we try to do a good job.
Did you ever have a moment when you said to yourself, "Why did I do this?" And at the beginning.
No,
It?
not at the beginning, not at all at the beginning. Well, what happened was when we started to expand, and with my son, he does a Westchester, Connecticut edition,
right?
And that was good. And we have also an international kosher edition, but we also did Manhattan, and I started with a partner in Manhattan. Things didn't work out. In the beginning, it was great, but as time went on, things didn't work out as well as I would have liked them to. So, that was the only time I said that I really shouldn't have, done that, and I shouldn't have gone into business with someone else. But I realized that I have my limitations. One person can only do so much.
Right.
And if you want to expand the business, you need to, have other people help you, and you need to trust other people. Problem is, you can't trust everybody, and you just have to find out who you can and cannot trust.
Right. Who writes all of your reviews?
Well, the way we do it is when we go to the restaurants, we try to go on a middle of the week, or if we
quieter.
Do it on quieter, or on if we do go on a Saturday
early
or Friday, we'll go early, very early, at 5 o'clock. But usually we'll go during the week. And what we do is we'll sample the different dishes. We'll go in, have dinner, of course. I'll ask the owner or chef to come out, and I'll do a little interview with them. I'll ask them questions about their background in training and their philosophy on running the business, and how their restaurant's different from all the other restaurants, and what they do that's unique and special, and so on. And of course, we try the food, and I look around and I write, the different about the place, all different things. And and then basically from my notes, the next day, my wife will take all of my scribbles and then turn it into English.
So she takes all of your notes, and she
No, I take the notes. She converts it.
I meant she'll physically take your notes away from you, and she'll work on it, and she'll transcribe it, and then she'll rework it into paragraphs.
Right. Well, she'll write it. Basically, she'll take my notes and write sort of a rough draft of the review. We call it a review. It's more like a narrative, but it's not a critique. We're not critiquing these restaurants.
You're just describing it.
Right. The restaurants do pay to be included, but we select which restaurants we want. But what we do is, and then the next day, I'll take a look at what she wrote, and I'll edit it and add and subtract, right? And then she'll, again, look at it, too, and we'll fine-tune it. And that's basically how we do it.
How many copies do you print per
Our print
edition?
run is 30,000 copies per year, but what we do is we reship it at certain key times over the course of the year.
Oh.
In other words, it comes out in the summer, in July, and then it gets shipped again in October, right before Thanksgiving. Then there's another shipment right before Christmas and New Year's. Then it gets shipped again before Valentine's Day. And then the last time it gets shipped is right before Mother's Day and Easter. So actually my distributor, MDI, she worked out this system, because in the beginning the magazines were selling out so quickly they couldn't get them on the shelves fast enough. And then the second time they shipped them out, they shipped a year's supply to the bookstores and the different shops, and they didn't want to keep them on, so they shipped them back, and they just kept what they needed for the first couple of months.
So
and we
said,
wait a minute,
the flow.
What's called premature. So then she said, look, when's the best time when are we going to sell the most magazines? I said, right before the holiday. She said, okay, good, that's what we'll do. So now we only send them what they need for each period of time, and then it's been working out great.
So you just store them, and
we warehouse them until we need them later on.
Interesting. Do you ever think of expanding it to like 35,000, 40,000, or is no need to?
Well, so far we haven't really had a need for that. If we do, of course we will. But the thing is, see, I like to keep the cost down for the advertising, and my rates are reasonable.
You don't have to go into your rates
now.
Well,
but the thing is that, and I'm able to pass along savings to my customers because, I do the selling. I don't have to pay a salesman's commission. I do the photography. I don't have to pay a photographer.
So it
My
keeps
wife
everything
and I
cost
do
effective.
the writing. Right. We don't have to hire, writers. My wife does the computer work. We don't have to hire a graphic artist. So this way we're able to keep the cost very low for the advertisers.
Has this circumstance happened to you yet? I've got a little smile on my face because of it. Has anyone offered to purchase? You don't have to give me names or anything, but has anyone agreed to purchase the publication from you?
We've had a number of different
Interested
offers.
parties.
People. I'm not really ready just yet. I mean, I'm starting to think about retirement, and that may come, fairly soon. I don't know. If someone makes me an offer I can't refuse, well, sure. But right now we're having a great time, and what I would like to do is expand it to other areas,
which is what I see you have here.
Of course, we have Westchester, Connecticut, the kosher edition, and I would like to take this further to, Florida, California.
But then that sets up now you're growing exponentially.
Right.
Now all of a sudden it's not going to be you going into you're certainly not going to have a relationship with any of those restaurateurs, because you're going to have an agent or a representative of yours to go to all these different places.
Right.
And that's going to totally change it. You don't know how it would change it or not.
Well, I would want to maintain, the quality, the design integrity, and I would have to, oversee it and make sure that they would be following, the same format that what we're doing now. So, maybe if the right person comes along, certainly I'm open for that.
Well, we're all open to the right person coming along.
That's the key.
Now, we got about 2 minutes left.
Sure.
What advice would you give to people who are starting out in a business as far as success is concerned? What were in your career now, and looking back in time, what words of advice would you give?
Well, I guess what I would say really is that, if you have an idea and you want to develop it, you really need to make sure that it's the right thing for the people. In other words, if you have to make sure that the audience you're reaching really wants what you're selling, and you just have to work hard and go out there and do it. That's basically it, really. And like I said before, you have to be honest and just work hard. Perseverance.
Don't give up.
That's it.
Very, 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 very important. But you must also have knowledge. You've got to. I mean, you're talented and you're knowledgeable in graphic design, obviously. So you first have to get some kind of skill, and then and use that same tenacity in acquiring the skill. So you've got it.
Sure.
Then use that for your business. Now you've got something to sell, or something that other people want to buy, is a better way of saying it than selling.
Yes.
You want to make sure that you satisfy a need, and that's exactly what you said that you did.
Yes.
Which really I commend you, because I don't know of anyone else doing something like this. This is pretty much a niche that you created.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen other things, but not to this quality. Your quality is really speaks for itself.
Well, thank you very much. This is what we're really proud of, our 10th anniversary edition, and there's a die cut.
Who's going to get that shot over here? Okay.
And there's a die cut on the front cover, and if you open it up, there's a double gatefold on this.
Let me lower this down a little bit. Follow me. Okay. Oh wow! Look at this. Look how this just keeps opening. Oh my God. Look at this. Boy, you're going to have to come back on me here. Look at this.
On the other side as well.
And it opens up on the. Look at this. Hold this on the outside. Wow. Okay, amazing to do all this. It's huge and it's beautiful. We got about 10 seconds. So, first, Morris Sendor, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to come down here and sharing all of your thoughts and your ideas with us.
Thank you, Harvey.
Morris, it's a pleasure always to have you down here.
My
I look
pleasure.
forward to seeing you again.
It's my pleasure,
especially us enjoying a glass of wine and some food together.
Sure.
And say hi to Rosalie.
I will. Thank you.
All right. And I hope you enjoyed getting some ideas from someone else who's been in business and still is, and how he created this on his own, with some good thoughts, tenacity, perseverance, and, as I always say, he did it with passion. So, Dr. Pass is saying, whatever you do, continue, like Morris Sendor, do it with passion. See you again next time.